It's my privilege to introduce our first speaker today, Greg Woolf. Greg is the founder and CEO of Coalesce. It is also Boston-based, and you'll recognize that from his accent. Maybe not. Coalesce uses AI and machine learning to automate the tedious work at financial services firms. Greg's a serial entrepreneur. Has previously founded a fintech company whose customers manage $1 trillion in alternative assets. Since launching Coalesce, he was awarded CEO of the Year by AI Global Magazine, and it appeared in an IBM Watson TV commercial. Greg moderates industry groups focused on AI with more than 12,000 members and has founded an AI think tank comprised of senior executives from large financial services firms looking at how they can de-risk operations in their area. Please join me in welcoming Greg.
Thank you, Sean, for that kind introduction. I'm from South Africa, so there's the accent. I'll get it right out there. So Coalesce uses AI to automate manual office work, right? The tedious, boring, repetitive, error-prone, redundant work. It's everywhere. And the way we like to look at AI in terms of two layers. First, we automate the doing of the work through machine learning. And then we automate the thinking through predictive insights. So Coalesce is a generalized application that can be applied to multiple different workflows in a financial services organization. For example, we have a customer. We monitor 12,000 companies in their portfolio every week for signs of risk and growth. We have another customer. We review 7,500 trades a day looking for fraud and errors, all done automatically. We have another customer that looks at 100,000 contacts to find the best prospects for their marketing and fundraising. And another customer that uses Coalesce to filter 50,000 emails that come through a single inbox and are required to be designated by 300 customer service reps. And then finally, who doesn't have PDF documents in a financial services organization, right? They're everywhere. We're able to automate that. So the way we did this is by inventing a technology called UDML, User-Defined Machine Learning. And we started out building our application on top of core AI components like IBM Watson, Microsoft Cognitive Services, Google TensorFlow. But then we taught the system to understand the 5 core data types that a financial services user works with every day: companies, people, documents, communications, and transactions. And then on top of that, we built our UDML. UDML, User-Defined Machine Learning, allows a business user to teach the application to filter, analyze, and process data according to the user's own domain expertise and knowledge, thereby encapsulating their user knowledge into the system. So let me give you an example of how this works. The first example I'll show you is how Coalesce is looking for legal issues in a portfolio of companies. And you'll see Coalesce goes out and it reads through millions of news articles looking for legal issues in a company. And it finds here's a company that's being sued in a class action lawsuit. But you'll see on the right that there's a confidence score. Coalesce is telling the user with transparency, one of the biggest challenges in AI and ML, transparency as to how it got that score. And if the user disagrees, just like Netflix, they can flag it as yes or no, and the system learns on the fly from the user based on their expertise without any programming. Another example, we're looking at securities that were bought and sold in the same company in a 48-hour period, potentially an unreported trade error. Coalesce goes through initially looking for trading patterns that meet that criteria. The problem with a blind rule like that is it's going to pick up a lot of false positives, right? So what Coalesce is able to do, which is very expensive to process, so what Coalesce is able to do is to marry that trade pattern against narrative, to look at the research and say, wait a minute, actually this is a valid buy and sell within a short time period because we've got research to support that. Or similarly, Coalesce is able to go in and look at a trade, a buy and a sell in a 5-day period, which a blind rule would have missed. But Coalesce is able to go look at the IM communication, but instant message communication between the trader and the portfolio manager to identify the communication about an erroneous trade. In our third example, we look at processing documents. So these are typical statements. I'm sure you've seen thousands and thousands like these, anybody who works in financial services. In this case, what the user does is teaches Coalesce to go out and filter the content and read through the document based on the definition, the user's definition of rows and columns by example. And then Coalesce processes the documents. Now, normally this is done in a batch process with over thousands of documents and pushed into some kind of reporting database through an API. But Coalesce also provides the user visibility and transparency into the results by providing the information in an Excel file. And in this Excel file, you'll see that Coalesce is actually giving the score of how confident it is that it got the data correct. So it works. We're seeing a 90% reduction in cost for our clients that are using Coalesce to process documents automatically. We're seeing them resolve emails from their customers 200 times faster than if they're doing it manually. We're seeing them 125 times better and more in depth at risk and compliance and lowering risk. We've also partnered with a number of leading firms globally who are offering our products to their customers, and of course, through FinTech Sandbox, access to some of the best data sources that we could get as a startup company. And let's just take a step back for a second and look at the future of AI and the impact. David was saying there's a question about where is this all going. For instance, next month in our next AI think tank meeting, we're discussing a collaboration of some of the most senior head of risk, head of compliance, head of operations, very senior folks at these firms, and also in discussion with regulators, the Fed and even the Treasury, about everybody's interested in collaborating and seeing where this technology can take us, how it's going to help our entire financial services market as a whole. So lastly, I'd like to finish off. We launched our product last year. Since then, we've been in asset management, banking, institutional investment. We've worked with large, medium, and small firms. And if anybody's interested in automating some of the workflows in your organization, we'd love to meet with you afterwards over a beer and hear about how we can help you. And possibly, if anybody's interested in the think tank, we'd love to get your opinions on that as well. Thank you very much.